everyone, it's PixelParadise here, and welcome back to another video, and happy Halloween. Today's video is a speed build of the abandoned, spooky VaughnMeyer home. This house has a very interesting backstory, so you may want to listen. This home was built in 1862 by a wealthy man by the name of Brightland VaughnMeyer. He was a prosperous man who saw potential in the town of Great Hollows. He had built many other homes in the scenic town, and Sims from all over began to move in. In the year of 1865, a family had moved into one of the homes VaughnMeyer had built, and strange things began happening in the town of Great Hollows. The generally happy town of Great Hollows very slowly turned into a dark and dreary place where most Sims were not seen outside during the day. One night, VaughnMeyer was sleeping in his home and was startled awake when he heard his bedroom door open. He got out of bed to check the noise, but only found that somehow a bat was in his home. He shooed it away and went back to sleep that night. The following morning, he had woken up feeling like he didn't even sleep the night before. He felt so drained and exhausted. As he was going about his morning routine, he had noticed there was a scratch on his neck, almost like a bite mark. VaughnMeyer went to his mirror to look at what he felt, but when he stood in front of his mirror, he could not see himself. He thought that he was hallucinating, or maybe he was even still sleeping. He splashed his face with water and looked back into the mirror, but still he saw nothing but what was behind him. As he walked past his windows, he would feel a burning sensation on his skin, so he began closing all of his blinds. He hurried to his office and searched every book that he had until he found the one titled, "Vampires Living Among Us." As he read this book, he began to tremble. It read, "Vampires will drink the blood of other Sims to stay immortal. The Sim that was bit will turn into a vampire. Vampires can switch into a bat form. Once bit, a Sim will feel exhausted and will no longer have a reflection or be able to stand in the sunlight." It was at this moment VaughnMeyer realized what had happened not only to himself, but to the whole town of Great Hollows. VaughnMeyer did not want this life for himself, and he didn't want to hurt other Sims, so he walked out into the sunlight and had died in his own backyard. Years had gone by, and a small family that was just starting out found this home in Great Hollows. It was the perfect price, and the location was beautiful. They had finally moved in all of their belongings, and a week later, strange things began to happen in the home. While the father was off at work one day, the mother and her newborn child were at home alone. The baby had been crying and fussing all day long. The mother kept trying to soothe her, but nothing seemed to help. She started bouncing the baby and looked out the back window, where she saw a very pale man standing in the pouring rain. This had startled the woman, but she wanted to help him. She laid her baby in the bassinet and ran down the stairs and out the back door, but by the time she arrived, the man was gone. Puzzled, she went back into the house and heard her baby upstairs laughing. She went back up to see her baby, and when she went to open the door, it had been locked. The mother frantically started banging on the door until finally it had opened, and there she saw her baby, right where she had left her, and she was finally sleeping peacefully. Later that night, when her husband came home from work, she had told him what had happened, but he just laughed and said that she was probably just seeing things from being so tired with a fussy baby. Some time had passed, and the mother kept seeing small things being misplaced, but never thought much about it. On a cold winter night, everyone was asleep. The mother and father had been awoken by their child laughing. The father got up and had snuck to her room to see what she was laughing at. When he opened the door, that's when he saw it. The pale man was standing there, staring straight at the father. Adrenaline had kicked in, and he would do whatever it took to save his daughter. He ran into the room and went to push this man out of the way, but his arm went straight through him. At that moment, the father grabbed his daughter while yelling for his wife that it was time to go. They hurried out of the house with nothing but the clothes on their backs, and they left town never to return. Now, in present day, what used to be a wonderful growing town of Great Hollows has been abandoned and forgotten. Most of the houses are left vacant. Rumors travel across the world that this town is filled with nothing but evil spirits. Others will claim that this town has been overtaken by vampires. However, nobody is really brave enough to find out exactly what happened to Great Hollows. This house is abandoned, or so they say. They don't know for sure. There's rumors going around that this house is actually being lived in by the ghost of VaughnMeyer, and there's others that are saying that vampires have taken over this home and they still live there. And of course, there are the people that say that this house is completely abandoned and Mother Nature is just taking over, with all of the vines growing on the outside and inside of the house. Because the previous owners left in the middle of the night with just the clothes on their backs, their belongings were all left here. And that is the story of the spooky VaughnMeyer home that is now abandoned. So, what do you think? Do you think that this house is really abandoned? Or is somebody actually living there? Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And also, let me know if you enjoyed this type of video. I really enjoyed making it and coming up with a fun little spooky story about this house and why it is the way that it is. I hope you guys have a really great and wonderful Halloween. Please be safe, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye!